largest undergraduate entrepreneurship group on Yale's campus. Our goal is almost really to lower the entry barrier into entering entrepreneurship. We know that doing a startup is a daunting process, so anything that we can do to help you jump into that process head first, we want to facilitate. An internship program is one, so you guys can connect. So when you have that startup idea, and you've worked with the founder for an entire semester or 2 semesters, you have a person you can go to directly for advice, know how these things operate. We're really, really excited to connect you with internships, especially for first years, sophomores out there. We know that getting that first internship is just, it's a super daunting process. Our goal is really to connect y'all with amazing experiences and really just spur entrepreneurship. Other stuff we do at Yes is we have a podcast series going on. So we just had Barry Nailbuff from Honest Tea, Michael Seibel coming up in December. We run pretty cool entrepreneurial workshops throughout the year. And next semester, we're looking to run a couple of pitch competitions and a couple of really great stuff. But in general, so excited to see all of you, and we cannot wait to see what comes out of this coming winter.
Awesome. So next we'll be introducing Harvard Ventures, who's helping us host this event. So Georgia, do you want to kick us off?
Hi everyone, I'm Georgia, one of the co-presidents of Harvard Ventures, which is the leading entrepreneurship and venture capital undergraduate focused organization on Harvard's campus. We're super excited to be working with Yale on this initiative that they've put together to be connecting more students with internships at startups. I truly believe that working at a startup is the best way you can learn and get your foot in the door in the world of entrepreneurship. And at Harvard Ventures, we really aim to give students the skills, relationships, and resources to accelerate their careers in startup land. We only have one rule, which is to build something cool, or at least try to. We also have a podcast called The Bottom Line and are everywhere online at Harvard_Ventures. So definitely check us out as well.
Awesome. So now we'll be talking about kind of the structure of this event. So it's going to be pretty short and sweet, probably only going to take around 30 minutes to get through all the main information. Then, like I said, me and my team will be here to answer any of your questions. So first, we'll be introducing you to the program, telling you a little bit more about our mission, what we're here to do for all of you. Then you guys are going to get the chance to meet some of our companies. We got a whole suite of some really great startups to provide internships to you. So we'd love to introduce them. And then you're going to get the chance to meet 3 of our interns, one working at a healthcare startup, another for a startup creating industrial kitchens, and the other, they're trying to create Asian superfoods and break into the Western market. And then we're going to go over some recruiting and application tips. And from there, I'll talk about some other information, such as for any international students in this meeting, we're going to be talking about how you fit in with this program. Great, so let's get started. So what is the Yes Internship Program? Where we're just here to connect talented students with talented organizations. We recognize that startups really don't have the time to go out and recruit. They're focused on building their minimum viable product, on marketing their product, developing an audience. They don't have the time to launch intense recruiting efforts. And then we know that all of you guys are brilliant, you guys have amazing experiences, but then finding those interesting opportunities at startups is kind of hard. It's hard to reach out to your alumni network. It's hard to just make those connections. So we want to provide opportunities to you guys at one of our 30+ affiliated startups. And then we're going to pair you with these companies for unpaid internships or paid internships, where you're going to get the chance to get mentored. We're going to gain access to networks that span into finance, consulting, healthcare, law. And then you're really going to get the chance to build that genuine entrepreneurial network to give you some real world experience. And then this is going to help you in the future whenever you're trying to start a startup, because you'll have that experience growing something from scratch. You'll have experience talking and networking with other people, and you'll just know more people in the entrepreneurial space. So before we hop into anything, I'd just like to let you all know that our applications are going to be opening this Monday, and they're going to be closing November 30th. So now it's time to meet the companies. We got 3 here to show to you today. So Georgia, you want to hit us?
Yeah, so the first company is Grocery Outpost, which was founded by a Harvard alum, Ethan Pierce, and came out of the COVID-19 pandemic, which we all obviously know well. And it's basically to save local independent restaurants. So Grocery Outpost delivers groceries, artisan products, and restaurant food directly to consumers' doorsteps. Their team is really dynamic and fun, and they're growing super quickly. So they're looking for enthusiastic and curious interns to join their team. Students will be working as growth marketing interns. So essentially, you'll be crafting a detailed marketing plan and defining key metrics. So you could really build out your resume here by designing your own innovative marketing strategy to help accelerate Grocery Outpost's launch. You'll also work with a lean budget, and you'll get to know local Boston-based restaurants. So really cool Harvard-founded startup here.
Yep, that's exactly right. And then we also got Sapien. They're founded by a group of UC Berkeley alumni. Their goal is to build out a social network that really focuses on humans. I think all of us can relate when we go onto any social media, Twitter, Facebook, you're kind of bombarded with toxicity, and Sapien is really all about building communities, promoting social interactions, and really just forming great groups of people. So interns at Sapien are also going to be working as marketing interns. They're going to be working to create content, work with someone who's had experience marketing for around 4 to 5 startups. He's super experienced in this field. I had a chat with him and he knows exactly what he's doing. Sapien's a really great place to start your career.
And then next we have Separa Wealth, which is a money management platform founded by another Harvard alumni. One of the founders, actually, when he was 15, sold 2 patents to Microsoft that he developed with his visual recognition startup. So these are seasoned entrepreneurs looking for applicants that could potentially become core members of the team, which is a really unique opportunity to join a startup with high potential so early on that you can really have ownership over your work. The founders are exceptionally well connected, not only to tech startups, but also financial institutions such as Goldman Sachs. And applicants will work as program managers, software developers, or marketing interns. Product managers essentially will be helping develop the platform. Software developers will be building out their web interface and dealing with APIs on the back end, and marketing interns will be producing content. But ultimately, the ideal candidate for this role and all the roles are going to be people that are self-starters and really entrepreneurially minded.
That's exactly right. I talked to Separa Wealth yesterday. They're a group of really great people, like Georgia said, looking for those self-starters. So if you really like to take an initiative on a really great and meaningful project, this is the place for you. So now you're going to get the chance to hear from some of our interns. So first you got Karina, and she's working at Evero.
Hey everyone, so I'm Karina, I'm a junior at Yale. Evero basically started as a stem cell banking company. It's actually a Harvard, their current Harvard undergrads, Michael and Nabil. They slowly realized that stem cell banking wasn't super feasible for them at that moment, so they're basically trying to revolutionize in-home care. The average American only sees their primary care practitioner for only like 15 minutes a year, and so they essentially want to create an integrated telehealth and at-home healthcare system in which, your relationship with your PCP doesn't stop, the second you leave their office. Currently, they're doing at-home blood draws. They just launched at-home COVID tests using a saliva test, and then they're also doing at-home vaccines, and they're also doing STD testing and pregnancy tests. Not pregnancy tests, but all the different tests that go along with pregnancy. So currently I'm working on the marketing side of things for them, basically getting all of their socials up and going. So, their LinkedIn, their Facebook, their Instagram, etc. Helping, tweak their website, make sure it's both very usable for consumers, but also for businesses looking to partner with them. Michael and Nabil have been great. It's a super relaxed environment. And even though it's unpaid, they really value my time. I've gotten like an Amazon gift from them. And they're also open to more suggestions about how to like compensate me and the other intern working with me. So overall, a great experience. I really do feel like I have ownership over my work. And I'm excited to see what I produce with them in the future.
Awesome. And then we got Julia with Nimbus.
Yeah, I'm Julia. I'm a first year at Yale, and I'm currently interning at Nimbus, which is a company that's creating premium kitchen spaces in industrial or unused and unmaximized spaces throughout the New York City area. And the co-founders' names are Cam and Sam. Cam was a recent Yale graduate. So since starting this, I've talked to both of them a lot about this untapped market that they're working with and how we can promote the growth and creation of new restaurants and provide individuals with opportunities to rent state-of-the-art facilities to test or create any new products without needing to purchase their own kitchen or needing to operate from a space that might be too small for them. And Nimbus facilities can be rented hourly, daily, or annually to create and cater this kind of target market to enhance the future of food and off-premise dining. So I've had a great experience so far working with both Cam and Sam just over the past few weeks, and feel as though the pairing process did a great job of pairing me with very like-minded individuals. And since their team is very small, I've currently been helping them with a variety of tasks depending on whatever is most time sensitive, and gotten to know them very well. So currently that includes revamping and differentiating their social media accounts from others of their kinds to promote the opening of new spaces and their mission, working on new marketing materials and apparel to get people excited about Nimbus, and sending out newsletters and finding potential new customers or restaurants that might be interested in renting out these spaces. And Cam and Sam have also made a point to establish that they want me to help them with areas that I would consider my strengths, as well as learn new skill sets through working with them, which has been awesome. So I've learned a lot of new skills that I think will be valuable for the future too. So overall, I'm super excited to continue working with them, and feel like I've already made strong connections through the pairing process and internship program at Yes. So I highly recommend.
Thanks, Julia. Jerry, you want to go next?
Yeah, hey everyone. Good evening or good morning / afternoon, depending on where you are. So my name is Jerry Fang. I am a freshman or first year at Yale University as well, and I got paired up with Chi Foods. So the founder of Chi Foods, her name is Tiffany. She is actually an MBA student at the Yale School of Management, and she thought that there's this gap in our current market for food and beverages that isn't really catering to a lot of East Asian superfoods. So many of us probably can understand growing up, we thought our parents taught us that eating Chinese red dates would help our bloodstream, or drinking ginger soup would cure a cold. And so that was kind of the inspiration for our founder to create a company that could advertise these type of products for both Americans and Asian Americans in general. And so that's, so for me personally, I felt a really great connection to this. And so what's really important to note, I think, about the internship program is that basically it caters to everyone's interests. Whether or not you're into business, whether or not you're good at computer science or marketing, there's pretty much one space for you. And so for me, contrary to a lot of other people's experiences, prior to the Entrepreneurial Society, I actually have had zero business experience whatsoever. I just knew that I was really interested in business and I really wanted to explore this field a lot more. And so I tried out this program. In high school, a lot of things that I did were related to civic engagement, hosting activities, marketing, public relations. And so that was the type of work that I was able to do and help at Chi Foods. So currently I'm working on a PR strategy for this company that we're planning to start a Kickstarter early next year, I think a few days before Lunar New Year. So it kind of gave me a lot of leeway to use what I learned in the past into this business field as well. So if you don't know exactly what you're interested in, or if you are just interested about business and you don't know what skill sets are available, I definitely suggest still giving it a try to look into all the different companies that are offered, and I'm sure there's a space for everyone. And so another question would be, what are we getting out of this? So for my internship is not paid, but I don't view it as a bad thing. I think that being able to have just an internship with a startup in itself is getting paid. This is a rare experience and a rare opportunity for everyone, no matter what school you're from, to be able to work with these startups. And so I'm really getting a lot of great work experience with a very learning-friendly founder who's willing to teach us and guide us about the food industry and all these things like that. So I'm really lucky to be able to work in this. And there's also some groups have teams. So for me, I'm working with another person His name is Frankie. He's super cool too. So we work together and partner in this internship as well. So this really just got me really hyped about business. And I think this is such a great opportunity for everyone to be able to explore the passions and their interests and to really be able to delve deeper into that.
Amazing. Thanks so much. As you all can see, like super cool opportunities to be able to be working at these startups. And this is just like 3 companies, 3 examples. And there's dozens more of students that we want to place in awesome companies we have. So application tips. We know that recruiting in the application process is stressful and oftentimes not too friendly. And our main goal is to want to reduce some of the anxiety associated with job recruiting and to find you jobs at a company that's going to be a right fit for you where you can learn the most. Applications are necessary though for us to be able to do a good job pairing you with a company, and we need to get a comprehensive look into who you are and what you want to get out of the experience. So like Matthew said, applications will be opening on November 16th, which is this Monday, and they'll be closing on November 30th. But applications will be reviewed on a rolling basis, so be sure to submit as soon as you can. You want to make sure you're positioning yourself to get placed at a company that's most exciting for you. You can expect questions to be really similar to a job or college application, standard questions about your experiences, education, and interests. You'll also be asked which of our partnered startups you would prefer to intern at. So definitely do a deep dive on the website with the startups that are offering roles. Think about what you want to get out of this experience, what values you think you can bring to the table, really dive deep into kind of the company culture you want to be working at, and that sort of thing. If there's not a role that necessarily fits what your skill sets are, try to get creative. Startups love hustle and they love people that are just trying to pitch yourself to them. That's really what this is all about. Once you've submitted your application, you might be asked for an interview from the Yale team. These will be more casual coffee chat style Zooms to give you a chance to really explain what makes you tick and what kind of internships you're looking for. Then based on all of that and your responses, the YES internship program will pair you with startups for internships. So once we put you in contact with our startup partners, they may go through additional screening procedures such as technical interviews, and it's up to you and your paired startup to decide whether or not you'll be getting an internship and the logistics of that around payment, time commitment, start date, end date, all of that. But please view YES and the entrepreneurship organization on your campus as a resource to help you with those negotiations and those conversations. They should feel friendly, and you should know that what the YES internship program is doing is submitting a strong referral and getting you through the door. So it's essentially like a warm introduction / common application for companies that we've already vetted and think are fantastic, and pairing those with candidates like you all who we think are fantastic. If you don't believe that, just look at the last cohort YES ran successfully, where over 90% of applicants were accepted. So there's huge success rates here. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I promise you won't regret it, even if you just submit an application to throw your hat in the ring. Overall, we just want to make this process as easy for you as possible. So if you have any questions or want to chat to one of our recruiters, shoot us an email or reach out individually, and we'll be happy to help you, review your resume, anything you need. We want to position you for success at these companies. Finally, our startups are diverse and unique, which is super special and awesome. And as a result, we want our applicants to be diverse and unique. So no matter your past experiences, whether professional or not, whether for pay or volunteer work, we want to hear about who you are and what makes you, you. We want candidates from entry level to leadership roles. So don't disqualify yourself because you think you don't fit the mold of what a startup candidate looks like. Promise there's roles for everyone out there, and just going through the application process is going to be a learning experience in and of itself. So opening up on Monday, it'll all be on the YES website. So definitely check it out and be sure to submit an application.
Yeah, that's exactly right, what Georgia said. And just kind of to build off of that, we really want to get a sense into who you are. So it's important to be super thoughtful when you're answering our questions. We have one-on-one conversations with all the startups you see on our website. We want to get a sense of who the founders are, what kind of people they're looking for in terms of qualifications, interests outside of academics, and career aspirations. So in order for us to do this pairing process properly, we really want to get insight into what makes you tick, why you get up every day, what experience you've had in the past, and what you want to do in the future. And this is going to be super important, not only to make our job easier, to make sure that when we pair you with a startup, we're going to be hitting that 90% success rate so that you are just an amazing fit for your startup. And just to continue on talking about some application tips, one thing I look for specifically is just effort in the application. If you take the time to write it thoughtfully, and if you take the time to really elaborate on all your responses, it just shows to us that you care about this application, and then you're going to care about the startup we pair you with. Another thing is to be articulate, be clear, communicate well to us. If you write a 700-word essay, there's no limit, there's no lower bound or upper bound limit on these essays. But if you write 700 words, we're going to have over 100 applications to read. We're all full-time students. So it's important to be articulate, to get your point across super concisely so that we know who you are. My team's going to talk about this in a little bit when they're giving their specific tips. But when you're submitting your resume, make sure it's updated. Align it with some of the startups you want to work with. So if you're applying to a PM role, if a PM role at Sepra looks especially interesting to you, talk about a time when you in high school led a club or you organized an event that was super successful. Try and tailor your resume to the startup you want to work with. And then also, this is kind of generic advice on your resume, but talk about the tangible effects you had. So if you trained a model, a machine learning model to look at data analytics, how accurate was it? If you created a website or you wrote an app, how many people did you attract? How many people downloaded it? How many people used it? Then kind of also building on what Georgia said, what are your career goals? What are your interests outside of academics? Who are the type of people you want to work with? And then kind of moving on to how our interview process is going to work out. Be casual, no need to worry about anything. Just know your resume inside and out. If you're talking with me, I might try and dig in a little bit about some of your technical experience because I have some experience developing software, but it's not going to be a technical interview. This is going to be kind of a chill chat. But now I'll leave it to my recruiting team to kind of talk more about some specific application tips when you're writing your application. So first we got Nick. You can see all of their beautiful faces here. But Nick, could you start us off?
Yeah, for sure. I suppose I'd say, certain hard skills might be really important for a particular role, but you should really keep in mind that, a startup is a dynamic, exciting learning environment. And so we want you to demonstrate how your personal qualities specifically shape your role as a team member. We want to be able to think of you and really imagine how you're going to slot in. And that's going to let us introduce you to our partners with the greatest confidence. So I'll say that. And then also, I think it's important that, you might find the vision of a specific startup really exciting, but you shouldn't stop investigating. Like once you read their mission statement, you really got to consider the specific needs of the company. And again, kind of how you slot in, but specifically, how can you realistically help them? So for instance, if a company really only wants a software engineering intern and you don't really have much coding experience, the fit might not be there, even if it's a super interesting company. And additionally, it's really important to consider, and this is just sort of when you're expressing which companies you're interested in, how much time you're able to spend a week, and how much time those companies are asking for. So we want to see compatibility really sort of across the board, and those are, I guess, some specific areas that you can focus on to make sure that we have the easiest time recommending you to the most compatible partners.
Okay, and I'm Raymond, and I'm one of the other people that is on the recruiting team. And I totally agree with what Nick said about like the fit and the dynamism of the startup. My two tips specifically will be about like your professionalism, and that specifically relates to your LinkedIn and your resume. So as Matthew mentioned before, the founders are really busy people and they don't have a lot of time on their hands. So basically, like, think of us as the HR department, and we're trying to recruit for those startups the way that we would recruit for our own companies. And because of that, the first thing that we're going to look at are going to be your LinkedIn and your resume. And basically, while that tells us a lot about your experiences and your skills, it's also good for just getting a feel about like your proactivity and your own professionalism, and like most importantly, like how devoted you are to yourself for furthering yourself professionally. So essentially, same thing with your resumes. Like just make sure that your resume is up to date. For example, for your first year, don't say that like for example, like you should definitely not still be saying that like you're still in high school or something like that. That'll show us that you're definitely like not dedicated to or like not ready for professionalism as well. So in general, just keep everything up to date and keep everything accurate and keep everything professional, and be good.
Yeah, so adding on to that, I think, one thing that I think is really important is researching startups. And I'd highly recommend that before you start your application, to take some time and go through the list of startups that are available and just like pick a couple, like one or two that you think align with your interests and your goals. And then take some time to do some online research in depth on what those startups do and what their mission is, so that in your application, you can kind of talk about what you think you would be a really good fit for, or why you would be a good fit for those specific startups. And there are also like a couple of sections in the application. Like there's a what's your ideal company section, and also an additional information section. And I think that either of those sections would be a good place to talk about some of the specific startups that you're interested in. And like in general, for me at least, when I'm reading applicants, I kind of see, if I see that someone has put a lot of effort and time into researching and understanding a startup and why they would be a good fit, then like I really try my hardest to make sure that they get paired with that startup. And I guess the second thing is that in the application, there are also a couple of sections where you're asked to describe a time when you had to overcome a challenge or you had to display your creativity. And the purpose of those sections is to really give whoever's reading your application a better understanding of who you are and how you might function in like a startup environment. So please like try to take those sections seriously. In the past, there have been some applicants who filled out those sections kind of quickly and it sort of showed. So like, really put some thought into those sections and check to make sure that all your grammar and everything is correct before actually submitting your application.
Hey everyone, I'm Leo. I'm also one of the head coordinators of the YES internship recruiting team. I really agree with what Matt said. I mean, one of the things I look out for when we're discussing the applications together is, I really care about assigning the internships to companies really what you want to do, because at the end of the day, this is for you. And so one of the biggest pieces of kind of recommendation I'll give is, if you indicate the companies where you've ranked the companies you're interested in, really do research when you rank that, and you will basically have a good chance of, obviously no guarantees or anything, but you have a good chance of kind of getting to a company that if you've researched and you're a good fit there and you show interest and that's your top choice, then there's a good chance that you'll get it. So that would be a big tip. And then in addition to expanding on Matt said, the anything else you want us to know section at the end, don't add anything there unless it's something pretty significant to your profile. And that can be a good place where you could talk about, maybe you've researched a specific startup and you think you're a great fit, you can really grow there and you can help the company and you're a good match for the number of hours and your skill set, then you can briefly discuss there why you think that company is a great fit. That would be a good way to use that section.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, the application's open on Monday, so make sure to hop onto that. There should be like a Google form that's sent out, and the applications won't close until November 30th.
Awesome, thanks guys. So now we'll be talking about kind of how international students fit in. I got some bad news. Only internationals with work authorization are going to be able to participate in the program. I'm an international student myself. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I know the struggle with all the loopholes and all the forms we have to fill out. I really empathize with you guys on this. I talked with Ozan Say of Yale's Office of International Students, and he was the one who kind of hit me with this bad news. I am going to be trying to work with the Student of Employment offices at Yale to try and accommodate international students before this second round of applications that's going to be opening next week. Unfortunately, if you don't have work authorization, you won't be able to participate. And if you're an international, you can stick around for the FAQ, and I can certainly answer more of your questions. But from there, before we conclude, I'd love to just invite anyone, if you're interested, to join the YES internship team. We got a group of around 15 grade people. We got 5 people on the recruiting team, 11 people coding a web interface that we're going to be developing so we can help scale this program. And then also we got 8 people on our marketing team. So you can see all their beautiful faces here. If you want to be on an info session slide like this in the future, feel free to reach out to me anytime. But other than that, that concludes everything we've got for this internship program information session. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out right now and we can certainly answer them. Thanks, everyone.